Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen, and I am the Market Development Manager here at Zyxel and Project Manager here at Zyxel North America. Good to have you here. Um, I was going to scare you when I came in, but I decided against it. But it doesn't have to be scary, though. We're going to talk about security and network security and the threats that are there and how it could feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. And we'll talk about some of the solutions that Zyxel has to offer to help facilitate, to make it less scary during this time and season. So we wanted just to make it aware to our partner base that of the kind of the new updates of our products, as well as talk about how we can use security firewalls to help prevent things like ransomware and malware from entering your network and your customer's network. I like for this to be interactive as well. So if you'd like to ask any questions during this time, please use the Q&A section of the webinar so that I can have those questions readily available and go through them as we go through the presentation. But I do like that interactive. So if you like to use the chat, you can as well, but more so it's better off to use the Q&A section for that purpose. So let's go ahead and just jump right in and do a quick introduction of who Zyxel is. We are part of Zyxel Networks, been in business now over 35 years, 100 million devices making connections, 650 plus employees worldwide serving 150 different markets. Over a million businesses use our solutions today. We are an award-winning brand recognized throughout the world on different aspects of different products and different solutions that we provide to our customers. We are a two-tiered channel vendor where you work with some of our sales account managers, the channel managers here, partnering up with you to provide you everything you need from pre-sales, post-sales, working through distribution. We're your interface to help you coordinate all of those things. If you're looking for stock, if you're looking for deal registrations, pricing, special competitive price bids and things like that, or if you're looking for a systems engineer to come along board alongside you to help put solutions together for your customers, we're here to help. So David, Andy, and Jacob, they represent the regions, the three regions that here in North America that we help to support you. So please reach out to them, utilize them as much as you can. There is a rise in cyber attacks. Everybody knows this. And there's been on a global scale, I think, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, where everybody has been shifting from working in office and working remotely. Everything is now a larger attack vector that threats are being, are coming out from those aspects. Before an IT manager could just work on protecting the business, right? So they had everyone in the office. That was kind of their defense. They have different layers of defense there, from email, from the network firewall, all of those things to help to prevent inbound and outbound connectivity that might be malicious. And now that people are remote, it makes it a little bit harder for you to now have endpoint security. How do you secure the home network? How do you secure the devices that are now working remotely from a coffee shop or from a home office? How do you make sure all of the security policies are in place? So Cybersecurity Ventures estimates that there will be 30 billion connected devices this year, and many of which are potentially vulnerable to attacks because they could be consumer type devices or non-business use devices that are still using the business network. People bring their own devices into the office. They're using their personal phones, their tablets and such, both for business and for private use. And so it could be a daunting task to protect all those areas. And how do you protect that? And how do you come up with the different policies and making sure that you're protecting not only the business, but the business reputation, information, or even just connectivity into your office, losing data or potentially suffering a ransomware attack. A lot of different areas where it could cause issue for productivity, cause issues for just downtime for a business and office, and also liability in some cases now, where maybe the end user are going after MSPs and VARs who are supposed to be protecting them, but maybe are not doing their due diligence in protecting all of that. So how do you protect not only your customers, protect yourself, but then also protect your company as a service provider or an MSP to them? Ransomware attacks are very common. Denial of service attacks that could bring down a network, phishing and social engineering attacks that happens quite a bit. Even in my own work life, we get emails and messages and even now text messages and such that seem like they are coming from legitimate sources, but we've been trained obviously through our IT, and that's something that you may have to work as well to train up your end customers, sending them through different types of programs to let them be aware that these are potential areas of attack. So often, it comes seemingly at a very opportune time. Maybe the business is waiting for an invoice or waiting for a payment to be made. And then all of a sudden, this email comes through and it looks like it's coming from a potential customer or end user. It seems to be doctored in a way that kind of catches somebody off guard. Typically, you can tell many of the strategies that they have is it's very urgent. It says, hey, you need to pay this now. You need to take action immediately before something happens. You need to pay this bill or your toll road fees before anything gets shut down. A lot of those kinds of threats try to get you emotionally into making sure that you might end up making a mistake. And I think even with remote users today, that could also be um, something that some of these attackers are using to their benefit, because while we're at home or working remote, there may be distractions. There may be kids running around or a dog running around, and during these times or stress, high levels of stress, or maybe your attention is being pulled in different directions. You're trying to multitask here, and then all of a sudden this email comes through, and you're trying to process that and make a mistake, right? So there's a lot of that being done in the networking space today. Um, they're targeting businesses in the healthcare sector, financial, all of that to try to get information and data, which then they can sell it in the dark web. That's where you start having identity theft. So it becomes a big challenge to making sure that doesn't happen. So how do you even protect against some of these things? Well, there's no perfect solution, but there is a overall general mindset as well as tools that come into play that kind of help alleviate that. But I think a lot of it is also not only from a physical networking standpoint, where you are protecting against the latest threats there, but then there's still that social part where making sure that the employees themselves have ownership of some of their activities, where they're going on web pages, what links they're clicking on, what emails look suspicious, and how to recognize those things. So that can help to prevent these kinds of data breaches and minimize the exposure that these customers are facing. So it could be very scary, I think, if you're unaware. I'm kind of afraid for those people or those businesses who don't have anything in place, because the financial loss potential is quite big. The average downtime to a ransomware attack is 21 days. So imagine if a business is saying, I think we throw up our hands, throw up our arms, and scream when our internet goes down for a few hours, right? So imagine that not only internet connectivity, at least with internet connectivity, some of us will be like, okay, well, at least I can just tether to my cell phone or work off my cell phone internet connection today. But imagine if even with your internet connection, but your computer, your servers, access to some of your cloud tools is now lost, because now you have to go find a new computer. You have to find some other device to get you back on track. And if you have all your emails in one place and it's not in the cloud, that could really cause a big kind of like stumbling block there that could really hurt productivity. It could also be damaging to the company from a reputation standpoint. Organizations are investing in all sorts of cybersecurity protection to not only back up their data, but then also do it in a way so that their customers are not down. Because can you imagine if a customer now is looking for you to provide them the service that they're needing, but your business is down or their business is down, How does that look on, like an MSP? You're supposed to be the one who's protecting them, and they may go after, those businesses, MSPs and ISPs as well, for potentially failure to protect. So I think looking at how you're protecting and securing your customer networks is very important. Are you doing enough? Are you doing your due diligence, so that you are trying to protect them in the best as possible, right? There are ways to do that, and it's sometimes it's a matter of cost, but you need to also be, I think, upfront with your customers on what levels of protection that they are getting. Some of them are, we get this a lot where they don't want to pay for UTM scanning services. And some of those features and functions are what helps MSPs to get information or be able to block things that may affect that network, like ransomware, for example. So if they're not paying for that service, then how can you protect them in that way? So there always has to be that, even potentially, like, signing a terms of service and recognizing that, hey, if they don't subscribe to this top tier service, we can only protect you in this limited aspect. And that there could be times where they are vulnerable to some of these network, attacks. And so they would have to accept the consequences of that by, subscribing to this lower tier, for example. And so we do see that. We do have partners in the business, that basically say, if you don't subscribe to this top tier level of security, I'm not going to offer you any security. I'm not going to offer you a service because I don't want to be liable for anything that could potentially happen to your business, the downtime that might happen because you're not fully protected as we think you should be fully protected. So there's been businesses that MSPs that have walked away from those end users because of that. And so it depends on your stance. And I think it just depends on how you need to protect yourself on that. But there could be serious consequences, not only for that end customer by not taking those steps, but also could affect your business as an MSP as well, because they can potentially come after you, and have some argument that we've subscribed to your business as a cybersecurity expert, but you are not providing me the proper cybersecurity protection. So what is necessary in that network security side of things? Typically, it's done with physical devices. They're designed to protect your network, both the packets, both inside, leaving your connectivity out to the internet, as well as protecting from intrusion or viruses or files that are coming in to your network. So those are typically like firewalls, intrusion detection systems or prevention systems, unified threat management appliances like our firewalls, which do all of that, and also like network access control devices. So being able to communicate between firewalls, switches, access points to find threats, and if it's deemed as a threat, to take action on it, typically blocking and controlling that device's access to the rest of the network. So those are things to consider. The role of the network security hardware is to detect those anomalies, block those malicious traffics, be able to use that to segment out private network traffic, so minimizing the threat or maybe the exposure that your network has. You have your guest network that might be more limited as well, where you have certain types of content filtering, peer-to-peer blocking, things like that, where it's separate from the private network. So however you segregate that customer network will help to minimize the potential security threats that you expose yourself to. So you can also have, your IP cameras on a separate network, your voice network on a different VLAN network as well, and be able to monitor that traffic to check out not only for specific current suspicious activity, but potentially look at it over time, looking at how maybe different types of utilization over time, and see if there are certain anomalies where all of a sudden now traffic is going to a place or to an address that has never gone before, and be able to flag that as potential suspicious activity, and be able to look into that deeper and to find out if, hey, is that a security threat? and then be able to enforce security policies in real time. Again, if you have control over the network, you can choose to, I guess, lock down the network as much as you want, but at the sacrifice of user experience, right? We do have some partners who work in a like a car dealership, and they are very adamant on these are the only places. This is the only type of traffic that we allow on that customer, uh, the private network. So on the business network, they're allowed to go to these websites to do comparisons or to look up data information from other dealerships or other like car manufacturers and things like that. But they will block everything out. So it would be basically a block everything except for these allowed on the white list or these types of categories, or allow for these categories, but then block specific places that they don't want people to go. So that's something that you may take a hard line aspect on it to protect a customer network. But most of the time it's more open. It allows for people to go to different types of sites, but then still limit them maybe on categorization, or block things like peer-to-peer downloading. If you do have any kind of customers who are have a private network and a public guest network, and that guest network is getting abused, maybe it's a coffee shop or a residential or a hospitality hotel where people are using that connectivity to download, maybe unbeknownst to them, they don't think that they're doing anything illegal, but they are downloading music or video that they just happen to see on a website, that they are able to do these things. And so you don't want the connectivity of that end customer or the hotel to be subject to like a cease and desist notice or anything like that, or their connection being canceled altogether because of somebody on the network that they don't know about is taking advantage of that and doing nefarious things with it. So you need to be able to have that visibility to get and enforce those things in real time if necessary, because it really is that first line of defense. If you don't know that it even exists, which actually many of our partners who do come to us saying, "Hey, my end customer hotel, they got a cease and desist notice, and we don't know how or what to do. What kind of tools and networking products do you have that can help facilitate this, blocking that kind of activity?" And so we train them and help them with that with our products that we have here. From a security standpoint, you can rest assured as well that Zyxel is very adamant and very forthcoming on wanting to make sure our products are secure. And so Zyxel is one of the first in the SMB market to receive the authorization from the CVE numbering authority there, and it's recognized as a provider acceptance level. What that means is you may see CVE numbers or CVE messages that are out there when any networking vendor has some sort of security or even software has security vulnerabilities or some sort of potential vulnerabilities that are affecting a certain type of product. So Zyxel is an authority that can actually assign a number to any kind of reported vulnerabilities from within ourselves, with third parties, with even hacker groups and things like that that provide this kind of information to that. Even from a bounty perspective, they provide this, and so we are obligated to provide the information to the public, making sure that we also have the proper patches or remediation, and also kind of the threat level information to our customers and our partners. So we take it seriously to making sure that our products are secure as possible, and if there's anything that comes up, how to mitigate that very quickly. So we're proud of that ability to do that. So we use security that's always evolving as well. So there's AI components that constantly evolve. We use in our award-winning platforms other partner vendors that we partner with to provide their award-winning solutions that provide a scalable a networking solution, like a firewall solution that blocks against the latest threats, even within minutes. So sandboxing solutions and any kind of informations from their sandboxes and their honeypots that they capture any of these kinds of threats out in the internet is provided within the context of this ecosystem to protecting your network and your customer networks as well. You can click and connect within workplaces. So for all these remote devices, if you're looking at creating office to office connectivity or remote office or home office or device connectivity through VPN to enforce these kinds of security policies, we have solutions that help to deliver an easy VPN connectivity solution to both laptops, both to tablets and devices, as well as site-to-site connectivity. You can choose to do different types of meshing if you need to, hub and spoke, site to site, built into those hardware pieces. So you can centralize and provision these devices, not only from the VPN perspective, but also hardware. So if you have customers with multiple locations that share the same kind of configuration and security policies, now you can organize that within our cloud platform, within Nebula, to manage all of those security policies and synchronize that across the board. You can also, when you're using our Flex H series, there is a smart sync to allow for you to choose which way you want to manage the device, whether you want to go into the cloud Nebula side to make a configuration, or you can do it on the device itself. You get to choose which way to do it, and they are ultimately synced together. So it's only one configuration, whether you choose to go cloud or on-prem, and it simplifies the way you want to do it. So you want, if you're primarily happier to just go onto the device while you're there to configure it, you can do that. So, and then you can see that the changes are also reflected in the cloud view. So just think of it like these are just GUI interfaces, both on the on-prem and on the cloud. Taking a peek into what the configuration is. There is a caveat. Sometimes the cloud side of it may be a little bit behind on what configuration might be reflected if it's a new feature, or maybe it's a very advanced feature that not many people will use. You'll be able to see it on the on-prem device because it supports it, but you won't see that configuration in the cloud. But rest assured that that configuration, even if you configured it on-prem, is also still in the cloud. It's just not shown within the GUI. So we still save that information. Again, just think of it as just a single configuration, but you're viewing it from kind of two different windows. So our H series products, our firewalls, are powered by some of the best-in-class cybersecurity experts out there. So we don't use a Zyxel, everything. We use web filtering from someone like Trellix, which was formerly McAfee. We use sandboxing solutions from Avira. We use WebRoot for IP reputation, QMOS for App Patrol, etc. So we're using some of these partners. Their expertise is what they do and what they do well and what they focus on, and put that into our products and our device and utilize their resources to provide some of the best-in-class security functions in there. Our security products come with different licensing. Like I mentioned earlier, like we want your customers to be able to utilize the full UTM suite. So Gold Pack is probably the most ideal. Most MSPs will use the Gold Pack because it also includes 1 year of the Nebula Cloud platform, along with the 1 year of the Gold Pack, which is your entire threat management. Everything you saw from that previous slide that had all the different vendors and their protection, that comes in that Gold Pack. But if you do have some partners or some customers who maybe don't know or maybe not yet ready for the Gold Pack, all of our H series products, even if you bought the hardware only and not the bundle, it comes with the entry defense pack, which still gives you some cloud security, gives you the cloud access reporting, but then also gives you like IP reputation and some levels of like, protection in that regard. but we want we want your customers to get to the gold pack. So these all come with a 30-day free trial of the gold pack. So you might as well turn on that 30 days and start gathering the reporting for your customers for that network site. And it becomes a very easy sell after the fact that you show them a report that says, hey, this past month we turned on your free 30-day trial. And after those 30 days, we blocked against these many, ransomware. These are the websites that your employees are going to. This is how much bandwidth you're using, et cetera. And then be able to convince them a lot easier if they would like to continue their service. So here's the gold pack yearly license or multi-year license pack for that. Of course, if you already have your customer, bought into the UTM services there, then it makes it also easy for you to just buy the BUN, so the bundled hardware pack, where it comes with the hardware plus 1 year of gold pack license in there. We are running a promotion that you'll be seeing in some of our marketing material that will allow for you to get basically buy a 2-year gold license price at the 2-year gold license price, get the hardware free. So if you're are looking to transition somebody or maybe even upgrade customers from an older firewall or a competitive firewall to the USG Flex H series, we're offering that kind of promo going on now. So you can always reach out to your sales rep to check on that and ask about more information on that. Typically, they will just issue you a special pricing adjustment at distribution that will give you that special price where it's equal to the 2-year license. So if you're going to renew for 2 years anyways, that's a great time for you to upgrade to this new hardware platform. It gives you enhanced protection with seamless management. Again, with the gold pack, it already comes with the Nebula functionality, Nebula 1 year, but it also gives you advanced functions like sandboxing, IP and DNS reputation. A lot of our competitors out there, you have to kind of look carefully. They do offer maybe like an essential pack where it's kind of, it doesn't typically include the sandboxing, the IP reputation, things like that, or they have like no support. So keep watch of that, because our gold pack, which is the UTM pack that we offer, is the full-blown advanced function or enhanced firmware version or enhanced license version that you might see from a competitor. So make sure you compare kind of apples to apples there, that this does include the sandboxing IP reputation as well. It's designed for those customers who need fast network protection and still be able to provide all those layers of security. So you can see here the entry level pack. It gives you that reputation filter, it gives you the Secu Reporter, which is our cloud reporting tool, making sure that you can have visibility. I think one of those things, it's not as scary if you can see what's going on, right? I think that's the biggest fear sometimes that people have from a networking perspective is, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know if I'm being attacked. And that could cause, levels of anxiety, I would say, to make it a little bit scary of not knowing what's going on. But by knowing, at least you know what's going on and you can do something about it. And that's what this UTM pack will do. It gives you all of these features and functions at a very affordable price. We also have some marketing material from the Tolly group that you can also download as well. That does the comparison from a total cost of ownership. Not only is our security very powerful and is kind of top in the industry, but also at a very affordable price compared to the competitors. And we want you to help facilitate those experiences to your customers, that it is very important to have the licensed product. It's great to have the unlicensed. It still gives you the network address translation, gives you stateful packet inspection. It protects you against denial of service and gives you VPN functionalities, but you're missing all of these kind of threat managements that are affecting networks today. So making sure that they are doing that. And you can put together different types of solutions, not only using the different firewalls that we have, but then tying them in with our access points, our PoE switches. All of that can come into play as a full solution, because we do also have what we call a collaborative defense and response so that these firewalls can communicate with these access points and switches if they detect maybe a device that is potentially malicious or ransomed, that it can block them out, keep them secure. So in different sized businesses, just facilitates for different sized firewalls. Here you see the 700H with a multi-gig connectivity, multi-gig switch connectivity, as well as the higher end smart antenna for high concentration wireless connectivity. And then you have things like our USG Lite 60AX. How do you protect that small home office? Or how do you push this out to maybe a restaurant or a small coffee shop? The USG Lite 60AX is perfect for that because it provides you with not only a multi-gig connectivity, it provides you a subscription-free security with built-in ransomware protection. And then you can always upgrade for 0-day protection as well as content filtering services as well. It provides for easy management, but then you can also use the Wi-Fi to mesh to any of our access points. So it helps to build out the node from maybe the main desk out into the open public area of a coffee shop to provide you with better coverage. And then our small office USG Flex 50H series and HP series. So the HP is just our PoE enabled version of this product. It provides you with high performance up to 2 gigabits so of SPI firewall. It's probably rated from a UTM's perspective better at I would say 250 megabits to maybe 300 megabits per second connectivity. So it's made for that small office. There's models like I mentioned, the HP models that gives you the integrated 30-watt PoE. So if you wanted to attach an access point to this to give it Wi-Fi, you can choose your Wi-Fi type that you want to use to get that going there. And it's manageable in the cloud as well in our Nebula platform. Our flagship USG Flex 700H provides you with 15 gigabits of high performance SPI firewall throughput with a 4 gig UTM throughput. So we always say this is great for if you have multi-gig connectivity. So 2.5 gig is what I probably recommend this for, even though it does have 10 gig uplinks for the local network. It has also integrated PoE ports as well. So this gives you your best option there at a very affordable price. With 1 year license and the hardware, we're looking at around like an $1,800 street price to providing this kind of level of throughput, where maybe the competitors you're talking about tens, maybe like a 10,000 or upper tens, or so like around 10,000 or $14,000 for this kind of performance. It uses AI security, cybersecurity intelligence to provide powerful insights, easy to identify threats, and automatically identify abnormal user behavior, not only immediately, but over time. You can create customized reports, and this is one of those benefits that I mentioned that can help sell this product to your end customers, is that you can create a customized report with your logo. It can tell you how much, again, threats that you have. You can customize what widgets you want to display within that report. We always find that showing how much ransomware blocking or malware blocking you have, showing the websites that their employees are going to, how much bandwidth you're using and who's using it. Again, it shows a lot of value on what you're using to protect their network. And then you can use this report to provide recommendations. Do you want to block users from going to social media? Do you want them, you want us to bandwidth control so they don't use so much bandwidth watching Netflix? Or do you want to block Netflix altogether? These are the aspects that now that you can see what's happening on the network, you can take action, for or against that behavior. So again, it shows that value and shows how you are actively managing their connection, making it worthwhile for their monthly payment or yearly subscription to this kind of service. So you can switch between seamlessly from the Nebula Cloud platform to looking at what's available here in that Secchi reporter. And this is just a quick matrix of our product line here. You can see on the lower end here, the USG 58 Flex 50Hs, moving up all the way to the 700H. So it scales with performance. What I typically use, again, these numbers don't have to be scary or overwhelming. Typically, if you are focused on security, so full UTM, your customers want all that kind of protection. You want to look at this line, this throughput, the UTM throughput. This is your lowest, common, I guess, or lowest denominator of traffic at the worst case scenarios. So you want to look at this number and take about 50 or 60% of this number to find out what is appropriate from a WAN perspective on your customer. So that's why I say the USG50Hs, it's great for like a 300 or maybe even a 400 meg connection, internet connection. The 100s is about a 5 to 600 megabits per second. The 200H, you could say about a gig connection or a gig plus. This is be a gig and a half to maybe 1.75 gigs of connectivity. And then the 700H will give you 2.5 gigs of throughput, real throughput. Because these are the theoretical max, meaning that, max sessions, largest packet sizes, that's where this is pushing through. So that typically is not what happens in real life. So you have to take that into account. So that's why we give you that 50 to 60% rule. And that applies to any kind of networking device that's out there. So there's just another summary of what the products look like, as well as some of the data points there. Remember the HP models, the 100 HP, 200 HP, those are the ones that come with the PoE connectivity there. Then you have our 700H on the higher end, and you can use them in all sorts of different environments for the small office, for the teleworker. You can also use it in larger office scales where it might be multiple offices to connect together, both by VPN, small businesses, or even large to medium-sized businesses, depending on those applications. And again, you can pair that up with other aspects of the network, these not only the security appliance, but also the switch network to provide PoE connectivity for voice and also to power up these access points that might be using. Or you can securely connect branch office locations worldwide. As long as there's an internet connection, you can build a VPN tunnel and encrypted tunnel there to protect that network. Or if you're connecting larger branch offices back to the home or back to the home office, different aspects of that as well. So if you are looking, or if you're not currently a partner, we have our partner program where you can subscribe to or be part of our bronze, silver, and gold. We want you to get to gold as possible. If your pricing seems off, please check with your sales rep and also your disti rep to make sure that you are on our partner program and that you're signed up to be a partner of our partner program. Let's see, RW Sanders asks, what is the bandwidth of the 68X with app monitoring turned on? It actually is going to be full bandwidth because the app monitoring is not doing anything from a packet perspective. It's doing more of the DNS reputation side of it. So you should be seeing that full bandwidth that's available there on the data sheet. That's what I've been told from that. Since it's not doing layer 7 scanning, which is usually the most packet intensive, it's doing some reputation monitoring and it is doing some ransomware detection. So it doesn't impact the throughput of that very much. If you're also looking to connect with us, Zyxel-US-channel on LinkedIn and Zyxel America channel on YouTube. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, just search for Zyxel Tri, T-R-I. So Zyxel T-R-I, and you'll find a picture of me. And please feel free to follow me, to connect with me through LinkedIn there. If there's any other questions, this is your chance to ask any of those questions now through the Q&A section. If not, or if you think of something later on, you can always email me at try@zyxel.com, and I'll either answer it myself or get it to the right person to have that discussion. So if not, if you don't have any questions and you'd like to drop off now, I hope you have a great holiday there. Not really holiday. My kids think it's a holiday, but always a fun time. But it doesn't have to be scary. You can conquer a lot of these kinds of threats and manage it as long as you can utilize tools like our firewalls to see what's happening on the network, then it's not as scary, but it is scary. How many of you have plugged in your network and with the firewall at a new IP address, and instantly it starts getting hammered with all sorts of requests and things that are trying to see if that device is compromised or compromisable, right? It's like uh, it's almost immediate. And so it's kind of scary out there if you don't have a real firewall protection on that network. Uh, you're leaving yourself potentially vulnerable to a lot of these kinds of threats that are happening. And many of those threats go unnoticed, right? It's not really uh, good for a hacker or a threat person to take down a network, unless it's just to make it inconvenient for that customer. But a lot of times they're hidden because they're trying to gather data and information. Let's see. Wolfgang said that we've already bought a USG 200H. I was not aware about the offer. Is there a chance to get get benefit back? And reach out, Wolfgang, to your sales rep. Maybe they can maybe apply some special credit or something towards the next one. We can always work something out there. It just depends on how long ago you purchased that, because this benefit has just kind of recently started. So just work out with your sales rep. I'm sure they probably can work something out for you. I'm fairly new with Zyxel, Jimmy, but registered as a distributor. Is there an option to try Nebula Dashboard or a Zyxel controller and get familiar with it before purchase? Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy, again, thank you for becoming a Zyxel partner here, and reach out to your sales rep. There, we do offer a free Nebula demo kit. It is a 60-day free trial of a stack of Zyxel equipment. So you can either choose like a USG Lite 60AX as your firewall, or you can choose the USG Flex 200H as your firewall. You can get a multi-gig switch and also a Wi-Fi 7 access point that you can then put within the Nebula platform to test that all out. You also can go, if you don't take the demo kit to try out with your hands-on tryout, you can always go to demo to the nebula.zyxel.com webpage, and you can log into the demo site where there is already existing equipment there that you can kind of play around and check the dashboard. But I would encourage you to reach out to your sales rep and get that demo kit, because it gives you a nice stack of a firewall, a switch, and an access point that you can put into Nebula. You can test the Wi-Fi, you can test the firewall, you can do all of those things as if you were the customer or the end customer, or you create your own site to do that, and kind of get a real feel on how you onboard, how easy it is to configure, how easy it is to provision these kinds of products in their Nebula Cloud platform, and see how it can benefit you in your deployment and in your configuration and management, and see what kind of information, even on the free level. So I didn't go into the kind of the benefits and features of Nebula, but we do have a monthly webinar that we do that goes into those areas, or you can watch on our YouTube some of those previous webinars about Nebula and the advantages of using Nebula. And that will help you also to kind of make that decisions. But definitely jump on board with that Nebula demo kit. So reach out to your sales rep to ask for that. Thank you for the question. And thank you for signing up to be a partner. So again, if you haven't signed up to be a partner, please again reach out to your sales rep there, account manager, and they can help you get on board. You can also reach out to your disti sales rep as well, and they can also provide you the information on how to become a Zyxel approved partner. There's no cost to join, so there's no reason to not sign up. There's only minimum sales loyalty, I would say, but the bar is really low. So it really is to help encourage, to make sure that, hey, you're buying Zyxel product, and that you are an advocate of Zyxel products, and we want to reward you with margin, with support, with our system engineer or deal registration, etc. So if you do find a discrepancy in your pricing, for example, if your pricing is more than Amazon, then most likely either you are not part of the program, or there's something else that's going on that we might have to take a look at. Sometimes we do run some promos on Amazon on certain SKUs that are maybe overstocked, but we will always honor those prices. So you just have to reach out to your sales rep and say, hey, I want to match the Amazon price that you have for your product here. And they will work on the back end to give you a special quote, special pricing adjustment there at the distribution of your choice. to meet that same price. So so always work with us. Always reach out to us. We're here to help you. So since there's no other questions now, I'll give you back the rest of your morning or afternoon. Thank you again for joining me. Again, my name is Tri, and I'm glad that you've taken the time out of your day to join me in this. And hopefully, some of this information was helpful in that it makes your networking experience less scary and less scary for your end users. But we're here to help you as well. So if you need any help with configuration or best practices, etc., please feel free to reach out to us. Until the next time, have a great rest of your week and have a great end of the month. Take care.